How much is the site?
I'm a dictator in the museum board.
I think it was $475 to put it up and $350 to run it a year, and he was going to donate the first year.
Oh,
Do we have anything in writing about the donation?
There's in that package, if you go through where that was, there's a copy of 2 of the checks. I think one was for $300, one was for $700. The $300 ones was from the Greater Rock Hall Business Association. The $700 was from anonymous donor. Which the donation, from my understanding, was specifically for the website. So if it's not going to be used, then it's going to be given back to the donor to see if they want to give it to the museum in some other forms or not give it to us at all.
If we take a look at your bylaws,
Next question.
I see this as, I keep getting copies of draft.
Yeah, I saw that too. Talking to some of the board members that have been on longer than us, that these were the bylaws that when Mr. Dannenberg was back there. So that's
How
all.
do we know that they were approved by the mayor and the council?
I don't know. We don't have. I mean, this is the only copy that we have. I think Stephanie didn't. Robin contact you and you said you weren't aware of any bylaws that we had, so we don't know. But I mean, some of the older members say these were the bylaws. So
Stephanie, in the code book for the museum board when it was created, and isn't that where the bylaws were also put in play?
The bylaws have to be approved by the mayor and council.
I understand that as is the whole ordinance that in turn involves the museum board.
Right, it says they may adopt bylaws that must be approved by the mayor and council. So my question, when Doug mentioned that one in your packet was these bylaws, whether there's a date of adoption on there.
I mean, I asked that same question, Jeff, because it does say draft at the top. But
Right.
I mean, just we haven't been around. Robin and I haven't been on the board for as many years as some of them have. And the word we got from the old board members is, well, Mr. Dannenberg had them, and they were adopted by him, and this is what currently they were going by at the time.
Doug, what would be maybe generally that time frame if it was Dannenberg?
Well, let's
What
see.
years
What
would
did
you guess?
the town got the museum in 2000? So it was right after that.
So,
the board was.
because what Stephanie can do is go back and check the mayor and council minutes and see if she can find it, at least
I'll
in
have to
some
get back
range,
to
if
you,
it's
Stephanie,
2000
and
or
find out exactly when
That'll be the
Dannenberg was
90s. He
chairman
was a
at the
customer of
time.
mine. That would be the 90s.
Huh?
That would be the 90s.
The 90s? Okay, because I know I don't think the town took the museum over until around 2000 and the board was created, so it would probably be after that. Dannenberg was probably the first one.
It was.
So we're looking probably 2000 to 2002, maybe sometime in
I
that.
would say 2002.
Like 2002.
Two? Yeah, I don't even see a date on these. Well, it says the draft was 2/12/02. So we're looking around February 2002. February 12th, 2002 was the
You can
draft.
check that, those minutes about that around that time.
So,
All right, so what your motion was to negotiate with
Yeah,
CAIA?
either Chip or Ronnie negotiate with Mr. Wooten to see what we can do to get the material from that website that we can use on our website or who's ever.
All right, I second that.
Any comments? Just a
Quick question, for the current museum website, will that still be down? Is the decision still down till?
It's still down for right now, and my assumption would be, Brian, do you still want to have a way for them to in turn provide to you and provide to the council, the website, so you guys can see that?
might as well get you a copy of it and let you look at it until you decide on what you're gonna do.
I don't trust mine gonna deal.
But I think it's probably worth the council's time to have the website of the museum and present it to us.
Because if you do decide to go let us go with our own vendor, then you will have already had to take a look at it, because we're like coming up on April now, and we're coming up on
Why don't you guys give that
visitors
to us,
time and.
and understanding in this motion here that it's going to involve this town, Ronnie, to speak with Mike, to see if we can't negotiate, as I understand what Bush's motion is, to get the pictures. So if you can send that over so we can at least also see at the same time exactly what the pictures are, what is off that website, that is what wants to be captured.
I don't know exactly what pictures. I mean, Robin's dealt with a lot of the pictures and dealing with him, so I'm not sure what pictures he has or he doesn't
But
have.
if we could get a copy of it, I think if Ronnie could also have a copy, that would be helpful. So when he speaks with Mike, he can say, these are the pictures that we're interested in. If we can
I'll find out about at least the idea of how many pictures he actually has.
Okay. Yes, sir.
I mean, last Monday, it said, the website said, website taken down for updating. I don't think there was any content we decided to find on the website.
There were only 4 pages to start with, there were no,
Okay.
almost no pictures.
Okay,
And
I
the
don't
initial
I just
was
don't
so-
want to make you
Right.
confused, I just really find it.
Okay. Well, we're gonna get a copy of the website, so if you could give us that, get a copy of it to Ronnie.
Okay. I'll copy to him and I'll make a copy and put it in your box.
Is there any other questions on that? Any other questions? Okay.
Do we know where it stands with the Maryland Food Authority
Well,
now?
let me go close this vote
Okay.
right here. All in favor? Anybody opposed? Okay.
Okay, we're just trying to figure out where we stand now with, what's the next step in projecting us to even move down there? I mean, is it requires text amendment, is it requires zoning changes, where do we stand with all that, because we don't know.
If you were here at the last meeting, you would have gone ahead and fully understood that anybody was here at the last meeting. I clearly said that we are waiting for their information and then we'll pass it on. And anything moving forward, the elected officials will move forward. I think this is like the 6th time I said that. 7.
Hopefully by the next meeting, we'll have information from Rose, that in turn gives us direction. And I don't think it's, unless I'm gonna understand something different from Rose, but I don't think there's any change in the fact that we gotta do a text amendment. I think that's a given. I think the question is whether or not there's gonna be other uses that aren't permitted at this time to go into the building, which is going to be looked to combined into a text amendment. That's where things are, and we're hoping to hear from Rose again.
And they're working on that. They're gonna let us know.
So you
as soon as
can't,
they-
you can't just make one amendment, text amendment, to one building. That's considered spot zoning.
Yeah, we went through that when we were trying to put a hotel there.
Yeah, and we have to be very careful on any text amendment that we make and understand fully how it will affect the whole harbor. And this is where we're proceeding with caution. And it just takes time. Something like this ain't gonna happen overnight. I mean, first off, it's gotta go through the planning and zoning, and then it's gotta go back to us. And then it's gotta go back to them, so.
So Chip,
So the
A
approval
public
to-
hearing and it'll all be in
Huh?
public.
So, and I'm not being rude, but the approval to move to the Clam House, which was given 5-0,
Yes, it was.
okay?
And
No,
at
no,
that
no,
time-
I'm not arguing with Butch,
Yeah.
I'm not arguing. But none of this was said pending.
You
So
were the
now-
one that.
no, Well, hold on, Ryan, hold on, okay?
Mhm.
So, just for my own sake, because I'm not a member of the board, I'm only the labor. Where do we stand? If the text amendment is written and accepted, the lease is signed between the state and the town, then we are moving. Is that right?
And I think to answer your question,
None of the above has been done yet.
but I think what I understand from
There-
what
Well, well, first of all, we were only given three cautions, and we're working with 3 cautions prior
You
to
didn't
making the
have
move.
$5,000 in
Now,
the other ones, I
No,
understand.
no, no.
Let me talk a second, Warren. You're asking a simple question, I'm giving you an answer.
I want the
You're
answer.
asking a simple question, I'm giving you a simple answer, okay?
Good.
All right, you asked about the 2 questions. Yes, it's gonna happen under their information to the elected officials. At that time, we will tell the museum, nobody disagreed that the museum shouldn't go down that building. But the building cannot go down there until that's done. Sit back and watch the show. I don't know how many times I gotta explain, how many different ways I gotta explain to you people. Sit back and watch the show until instructed further by the elected officials. You get any of that?
Ryan,
Does anybody get any of that?
I believe me, I can
I get the
understand
same
you.
question every week. It's
How
like,
rude
"Where's
you are."
That's what I get.
Brian,
One more
I
question.
hear you loud and clear. You don't have to talk to me as.
I'm sorry, I say the same
You're
thing.
acting
Okay,
really
but
bad.
this
I'm
is
sorry,
not good.
I hear from all ends going, you know what I'm saying? I've been working for 3 years to move this forward. Took a 4-1 vote, that Clam House would have been a motel with 15 rooms in it, okay? Worked my butt off to get it where it is right now, okay? To keep the 7 or 8 slips for the watermen down there. Number 1, put it under the town revenue with water and sewer and a town tax revenue for this town. That's what I did, okay? Working hand in hand with the Maryland Food Authority would trust me, okay? Fully, 100%, okay? And you're damn right if I'm gonna move cautiously to move them in there. okay? But I say repeatedly, over and over again, let us take care of it, and Revere the Museum Board comes out in the middle of the week with these emails off the rocker, after the council has given them direction, okay? Yeah, I'm pissed. I've had enough,
Brian,
Nobody listens.
Brian, we get your point.
okay? I don't know how many times I can explain, if I am acting bad, I'm sorry, and I apologize for that. But I'm tired of how hard I worked on this place, and how it keeps on coming back, and I gotta keep on explaining the way it goes. This is not the first time, Dawn, that I have explained this, okay? And when they go against what we've explained in the direction of the mayor and council, full mayor and council, okay, yeah, that irks me. It does, repeatedly. Because I see the emails and the BS all week long, and yeah, that should be outlawed too. And if I am acting bad, I apologize to everybody. But you push me to a point where enough's enough.
Yes, Mark.
So, again, just to cover all the angles, the text amendment will be written, okay, an agreement will be signed between Maryland and Rock Hall, and the museum will be able to move to the Clam House.
Hopefully.
If all that goes
If
through.
all that goes through.
Hopefully. Optimistic.
In the meantime.
I don't think there's any change of any positions, unless I'm wrong here, with respect to the museum going there. Again, what our hurdle is right now is in terms of being able to create a text amendment that provides for these permitted uses. But again, I don't think anybody on the board has changed their opinion from the museum going
We've
there.
always been there, just let us do our job.
Right.
I've got other questions.
fairness, I just got one
You do
more.
have a public hearing you gotta go through, which could change your opinions, whether it does or not. But you're supposed to be going into a public hearing about this text amendment with an open mind, and then you decide from there.
Okay.
And that's with the greater good of the town being on your open mind.
Question I had, is there a reason why we're decided to leave Tolchester where it's at? Under the fact that apparently there's no heat up there and.
Yes, there is.
And it's not in.
You put the heat on?
He's on.
Heat on.
When I got the email from Robin that said there was no heat up there, I had Ronnie go up there and light the heater. I mean, the guys went up and got gas and lit the heater, there's heat in there.
Okay.
By rights, rather than put it on Facebook, I don't know why she didn't call Ronnie when she realized it, or even you guys, you should've called Ronnie and said, there's no heat up there, we're concerned over the things in there. Because that's all I had to do was light the
I didn't know there was no heat up there either, but.
So I always said, put the heat on, Warren, the heat would be on.
But because, Mr. Who was going to bring, speaking about the artifacts in there were being destroyed because they had no heat. And I said, well, how long has the heat not been on? What do you expect? Paper products are going to deteriorate. One of your members said that. So that person knew
The
it.
heater got it going.
Actually, in the email, it was said that there hadn't been any heat all winter. And if somebody knew there hasn't been heat all winter, they certainly should have let us know.
In February,
Because
there
that
was no
is
heat.
the #1 responsibility of the museum board.
Well, I guess since Mr. Burris was
And
the
we
one
paid
that,
for the heat.
Mr. Burris was the one that appointed himself the curator of Tolchester and he was in control of it, I guess you should have made sure there was heat on.
Please understand, there's a lot of friction with the Burris family and the Museum of Rock Hall. And right now, if you, whether you want to classify it as a poison box down there, we don't know which direction this is going. There are citizens who are speaking for the Burris family, and yet there's people who are speaking for a museum.
Are the
A
police
Rock Hall,
involved in any way?
again,
Of what?
Are the police involved in any way?
I wouldn't know that.
Involved in what?
In anything that involves any current members of the board or former members?
There was a question brought up at the last museum board meeting as to why Mr. Burris had created a Tolchester Revisited Facebook page and was selling Tolchester tickets on there.
And the
And
police were
pictures.
notified?
The mayor had thought it was a good idea to have the police at least talk with him to find out why that was.
That information right there is enough for me. If I have to learn that from a citizen and not learn from the elected officials that are setting up here or the museum board, that is enough information for me to say that we need to cease and desist the museum board, suspend any and all activities until further advised.
Now you're talking my language.
Again, because there was a former member.
If there is a police investigation of any sort, and I've got to learn that from a citizen,
There's no
and not the
police
museum
investigation.
board or any of the elected officials, I don't know who you think you are to go to the police department And before even contacting these elected officials that are sitting up here, we govern this town.
If we get, out of sorts here, Brian, let me.
I'm not
explain
out of
to you.
sorts.
Sure you are, because
I know the
you
facts.
react, well then, why are you asking the question then?
Because I want to know why we weren't notified by you or anybody else that this was going on.
Again, there's no investigation underway, let's make clear of that. Again,
But the police have been contacted.
Mr. Dempsey, yeah, I went and spoke with him, and I asked Mr. Dempsey if he in turn would call this gentleman and ask him if there were any other artifacts that he may be in possession of, as he's no longer a member, and if he had any to bring him back. That was it. So I mean, if you want to suspend the board's operations over something like that, I think that's a
I think
little
we
bit
need
of
to
an overreaction.
reorganize the museum board, suspend any and all operations until further advised.
I think
You're
it's
gonna
nice.
take charge of it, I know.
Pardon?
Is Brian volunteering to take over the museum board?
I am volunteering to help them reorganize.
Take over?
Over the fact
Something
that,
needs to be done.
If there's police investigations going
There's not an
on, there's
investigation.
websites being launched.
Hold on, Brian, stop. There's no
You
investigation.
don't contact the mayor period already with that direct order 910.
Somebody's giving them the-
To learn that the heat is not turned on and the museum board is responsible for that.
And look, if it's the decision of the board, if that's the action that you so choose to take based on something that you're, again.
I think we need to reorganize.
What do you mean by reorganize? What's your?
Reorganize.
And how do you propose to do that?
If we have insisted numerous times for the museum co-chairperson to be here, she refused to come here because of the town drama, then how are we supposed to get this museum board and communicate with them?
But you have
We're sitting right here communicating with you.
Apparently, you're not the ones that we need to be communicating with.
How's that?
How's that? I provided you quite a bit of information tonight to answer all these questions that you apparently
The
have.
way you wanted them to, not the way that you wanted us to. Robin Kraske should be here, she ought to go ahead and explain by herself what she goes out on her own, with her own little emails and all, after going ahead and be instructed not to by the elected officials, that's the question, she keeps on doing it.
Well, there's a motion on the floor that Brian Jones has to suspend the activities of the museum board at this time. Is there a second?
Second.
We have a second by Brian. Nestor.
I'd like to amend that to, till we have a special meeting, to discuss this.
So you want to suspend doing any type of suspending of it to a
No,
special meeting?
no,
Or
we're
you
gonna
want to
suspend
suspend
the
it?
operations of the museum board until we can meet with all of them to, and all of them, to do what, get things straight here.
And any member that refuses to show up will be their resignation right there.
Is that,
But just, not the entire board, but just the officers.
is that a position of the, that if they don't show up, that they'll be asked to resign? Their
Yeah,
resignation
I
based
think they
on-
should, they refuse
You're
to
amending to
show up.
all officers, is that what you're amending? Amending to the officers?
He's saying limited to the officers.
Would it be possible to have this meeting at one of the museum board meetings, since that's the more convenient time for the
We're
members
gonna
to
have
get
it at a
together?
public meeting.
Well, all of our
that is
meetings are
scheduled-
public.
I got a
that are
full-time
scheduled
job.
By the mayor and
Well,
council.
so does some other people.
Okay, but not at 1 o'clock in the day, like you have your museum board meetings? No.
Okay, well, I didn't set the meetings at 1 o'clock in the afternoon.
Okay, so.
No.
This is the town hall, this is the council chambers, this table that we sit at as a mayor and council, citizens, this is where we conduct town business.
So, Brian, we can be making the arrangements with the museum board?
That's
A lot of town staff make the arrangements.
Okay, so is there no other discussion on this? Do we have a vote? All in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? So,
Would you vote?
I didn't vote.
Come on.
I voted against it.
Go. 3-1 then.
My question about why we're still continuing to have Colchester.
You still have Tomchester up there because we got nowhere to put the stuff right now. So we have voted to keep and pay the rent there for a couple more months until we get things straight for the, museum.
Okay, but we do have storage that we can probably make room for that stuff, and also that stuff that's up there now is not insured, where the stuff in town hall is insured.
Well, this would be one of the good things that the museum board could have alerted us to, and that we could have worked out.
We weren't under the impression it wasn't insured either. I mean, Mr. Betts apparently had insurance when he had it, but I guess when it was given to the museum and you all agreed on the contract, that probably would have been a good time for you all to maybe ask that. Because we figured since it was owned by the town, it was insured by the town.